On this episode of JR the P. So today what we're talking about here is Black History Month. Sucker, you jive turkey you mother bleppers, you know? I'm dating white chicks. Every now and then I'm hanging out with black dudes and stuff. I mean, I never really had no problem. But as soon as I went to liberal arts school, they could only guess the trauma I endured as a black man. Prejudice. Maybe not racism so much, like they hate me based on my skin color, they think less of me, but they have some sort of bias, some sort of racial bias, some sort of prejudice when they see my black ass come a scampering up. Oh no, what is this black guy doing here? What's he doing here? What's he doing here? Always keeping an eye on me. What's he doing here? What's he doing here? That's the prejudice I face. Everyone faces prejudice, though. What's happening, folks? It's been a minute. It's your old chuckle buddy. Guess who? Johnathan James Ramcharan, reporting live for duty on this magnificent February 22nd in the year of our Lord, 2025. Welcome and bienvenue to Johnathan Ramcharan, the podcast. How you doing, folks? Glad to be here. Glad to be of service. It's been a bit of a ride into 2025. All the best to you and yours. So today what we're talking about here is Black History Month. Sucker, you jive turkey you mother bleppers, you know? You motherfuckers, you know. Well, hell, if I'm gonna say it, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. It's Black History Month. Fuck all you motherfuckers. Black jive ass turkey motherfucker. You know? It's Black History Month. And, you know, it always gets me somewhat thinking about my cultural heritage. Now, if you're looking at me and trying to put me into a category, for all intents and purposes, I am a black man. That's what I've always identified myself as. I'm a black man. I'm a black North American man. I hail from Canada, I'm living up here, drinking maple syrup, eating, I used to eat poutine. I'm a pescatarian now, so I don't eat poutine anymore, but I used to. So I'm a Canuck, a black Canuck through and through. And Black History Month always gets me thinking. That's what I see myself as. My actual heritage is I'm mixed. I'm basically like 55% African, Nigerian, 55% African, 45% South Asian. Whatever, you know, them fucking dot heads, them fucking towel heads. Like I'm like 45% South Asian, Indian. So like I'm basically 55% African, 45% South Asian, Indian. According to one of those data places, one of those ancestry places, I took the test. And I guess Black History Month gets me thinking because, you know, there's so many different connotations, feelings, opinions. Living in Toronto, that's where I live in, Toronto, Canada, you know, people really noticed the mixed aspect. You's a Dougla, boy. You's a Dougla. I was called that once by some crazy, like, witch doctor, some crazy witch woman, some, like, crazy Caribbean woman. She, like, sidled up next to me at a bar one time. I was pissed drunk. I'm just drinking a beer at a bar, right? Yeah. Drinking a beer at a bar. And some chick, like, walks up to me, this witch doctor chick, right? She goes, "You's a Dougla, boy. You's a Dougla." I was like, what in the fuck's a Dougla? I was drunk, right? I didn't really think much about it. Then the next day I Googled it. And apparently a Dougla is like a mixed black person. Somebody who's like of black and Indian ancestry. So, all sorts of weirdo, wackadoo opinions on being black. I even was getting my hair cut at a barbershop once. I was at a barbershop once and this chick was cutting my hair and, I got afro hair. I got black hair, curly, nappy hair, but a lot of loose curls. It's not something I brag about. It's not something I'm whatever proud of. But yes, my hair is black and nappy and coarse and curly, but it's a bit slightly more pliable because I'm mixed. I have that Indian heritage, so my hair is a little bit wavier, a little bit more pliable, a little bit more bounce to it, right? Not as nappy. I mean, I have 45% less nappy hair than your average black, even though it's nappy anyways, right? But this is the type of weirdo stuff people pay attention to and judge you on. So I'm at a barbershop getting my hair cut, and this lady's cutting my hair, and she goes, "Oh, wow, you have, like, mixed hair. It's really easy, mixed hair." Something like that, right? I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I do." And then this black barber was standing next to her, and he goes, "And what's wrong with that? What's wrong with having nappy hair? What's wrong with having curly hair?" He got all like offended and like in a tizzy because I had mixed hair. As if that, as if he's in competition with the curls of my hair. This dude's in competition with whose hair's the nappiest. What a knapsack. What a knapsack rapper. You fucking wet blanket. Go fucking knapsack rap, you knapsack racker. Knapsack rapper. You know what I mean? Fucking wet blanket lib. Who gives a shit how curly or nappy my hair is compared? Like, I got black hair. What's the difference? Guys getting all in a tizzy because my fucking hair is less nappier than other blacks. It's nappy anyways. What's the nappy dugout? What's the damn difference? So like Black History Month always gets me thinking about being black in North America. And shout out to the knapsack rappers. I mean, look at the way I'm dressed. I listen to it. Gotta love them backpack rappers. Knapsack, y'all. So, getting into it here. In 2025, I kind of feel like I'm back to square one. Black to square one, if you want to be technical about it, in regards to race relations. Now, coming through the scamdemic, the pandemic, lots of mixed emotions, lots of mixed feelings, a mixed bag. And I was seeing online in online communities, some people were going on and on about the far right. These Nazi propagandists, these white nationalists, they hate black people, they hate all these races. And then there was the liberals who were crying and whining about every little damn thing. Did you know that black people are 25% more likely to catch COVID than the next moron? How did that play out? But, whatever. There was a lot of kind of mixed emotions and feelings, race relations wise, going into the pandemic. But there was also a very beautiful side. A lot of conservative blacks were getting along with a lot of conservative whites. A lot of liberal blacks were getting along with liberal whites. A lot of people were getting along. You just got to look for it. There's always a silver lining. And that's what it was sort of like. But I feel like I'm black to square one in that I went through it too. Growing up, I'm from Edmonton, Alberta, a predominantly white province in Canada, Alberta. That's where I was born and raised. Growing up, yeah, I was often the only black person. And yeah, I stood out, but usually in a good way. I didn't really face much racism or problems like that. I mean, yeah, people every now and then had a nasty word to say, but generally speaking, it was no big deal. So I never really thought about it. Then I went to post-secondary school. I was a theater student. I'm an actor, comedian, and I went to theater school. And in that time, there was a lot of woke type of stuff being pushed on me. And that was the first time when I was really sort of kind of influenced to have a angry point of view in regards to my skin color, my blackness. No one really had an issue with it. Growing up in conservative Alberta, nobody really said much to me growing up in conservative Canada. But then when I went to liberal arts school, all of a sudden, you should be really upset the way people treat black people. And, as a white person, I can only guess. I can only fathom the trauma you've endured as a black man. Well, here I am, up to my ankles and, up to my navel, up to my belly button, and white women, good times, hanging out with my brothers. All these white dudes, they like to drink and party. So did I. I'm dating white chicks. Every now and then I'm hanging out with black dudes and stuff. I mean, I never really had no problem. But as soon as I went to liberal arts school, they could only guess the trauma I endured as a black man. So all of a sudden I'm like being weaponized to feel something about my blackness, where beforehand it was never really an issue to myself or anyone. Then I get out of liberal arts school, theater school. I get out. I'm out in the world and I'm still influenced by those sentiments. I'm going through my trials and tribulations of life. I pretty much have a rebirth somewhere around 8+ years ago. 8+ years ago, I have like somewhat of a spiritual rebirth. I'm a Christian. I'm a clean living man. I like to live healthy and upright. So, I did all these changes in my life, and I kind of reset the whole notion of, my blackness means this, my blackness means that. It's never really been an issue to me, and I'd like to continue that way. Now, granted, I know that there have been some real trials and tribulations. I ain't no dummy. I've read such amazing pieces of work like Up From Slavery by Booker T. Washington, a monumental novel, book, autobiography by a black ex-slave turned businessman, tradesman, educator, Booker T. Washington, Up From Slavery. I can't recommend this book enough. Written by a ex-slave on race relations and brotherly love between races. I did a review on this book. You could check it out on my channel. I reviewed this book. Amazing. Highly recommend. Up From Slavery. Booker T. Washington. I've also read a little bit more fluffy, feminine things in regards to black people. I Know Why the Cock Crows. I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings by Maya Angelou. Fantastic read. Very earthy and lighthearted, whimsical, deep and touching and tragic at times, intense, and generally speaking, pretty, I would say, what used to be categorized as liberal, left, like a moderate liberal viewpoint on race relations, and very moderate and fair in a liberal sense on the issue of race. even somewhat conservative, but there's also very much a liberal middle ground, like a classic liberal kind of feel to this novel. That's how I took it. I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings by Maya Angelou. So I ain't no dummy, and I've been black my whole life. I learned a thing or two about being black. So, I say that to say, generally speaking, I know there have been issues in the past, historical issues, horrendous occurrences on both sides of the fence. In every race, there's been troubles, trials, and tribulations. But I feel like I'm black to square one in that through the scamdemic, through it all, it's coming down to prejudice. Everybody has prejudice. They have thoughts and opinions based on their experiences in life. It doesn't necessarily mean racism. And I actually heard someone make a very good point about racism. Racism is essentially a synonym, another word for hate. And another thing I heard was, if you hate one, you hate them all. How can I sit here and be like, I hate white people, I hate white people? You turn around and love black people, Asian people. If you hate one, you hate them all, meaning you have hate in your heart, and it only takes a simple disagreement, a casual little occurrence for you to go off the rails and hate someone. If you're willing to hate on the basis of something as crazy as race. You hate a human being for the way they were born? How mental are you, right? So if you hate one, you hate them all. So that's how I see it. And I feel like I'm black to square one, where it's like I'm seeing a lot of prejudice in society, a lot of judgmental people, angry people judging people on the way they appear. It's not so deep as racism, but it's still very prejudicial, is what I'm seeing. You be on the subway, you be at the grocery store, and, you see a lot of white people clutch and gasp when they see me a-walking by. And what's the message? Oh no, a black guy, he's gonna rob and kill me. They act like I'm some gang-banging thug, some gun-toting mental patient, when it's just like, yo man, I'm grocery shopping. I got a basket, and I got Raisin Bran, eggs, milk in a shopping basket. What's the threat? What's the issue? Why are you getting all crazy and weird around me? You're being prejudicial. You think I don't see it? The flip side of the coin is, well, there's a lot of white people out there that they get prejudicial treatment. A neo-Nazi walking towards me at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Or is it just some construction worker on his way to work? Oh my God! An angry, Jew-hating, racist, black-hating, Ku Klux Klan member walking towards me. Or maybe it's just some dude in a MAGA hat off to spend time with his friends and family. It's like people are prejudicial, judging one another. Seeing a lot of that in society. And when it comes to immigrants, blacks and immigrants, that relationship, that's a strange one. See, I'm kind of like, I take the notion of, I'm not racist. I hate everybody equally, even though I don't hate people. But generally speaking, we're talking about prejudices. And, I'm not a big fan of anyone in particular. I'm not a big fan of black people, big fan of white people. I'm just me. I'm an individual, and I love my fellow man. And but when it comes to immigrants, man, like, yo, I look at them as the same as everyone. Generally, immigrants are the same as everybody. Everybody is pretty much cynical, self-interested. That's what immigrants are. They're interested in themselves. And guess what? I, to my own extent, am cynical, interested in my own interests. So, like, a lot of times when you meet immigrants, when you're meeting immigrants, even though I come from I'm first generation, I believe. My parents were born abroad, Caribbean people. I was born in Canada, so I believe that makes me first generation. So, yo, I'm from a family of immigrants. But when it comes to immigrants, like, yo, they want something. They want your time and attention. What do I want to do spending my time and attention on a random person? Well, they're an immigrant. So what? You could be fucking pumpkin pie for all I give a shit. I'm not interested in other people's business. And here they are in my country, soon to be our country if they assimilate properly. So here we are in our country. They're a new immigrant. I'm a native son. I'm a Canadian, but whatever. We're brothers and sisters under our nation. Here we are. I'm not interested in their world, where they come from, what they do. I don't care. I am Canadian. I'm a black Canadian. And a lot of times with immigrants, they want you to take interest in them and da-da-doo, da-da-dum, da-da-dum. And if you don't, oh, you're a racist. And especially as a black man. There's always this kind of brother, what country are you from? Where's home, brother? Brother, where's home? Well, actually, I'm Canadian. And they give you this look of anger and jealousy and envy, as if to say, nigger, you ain't Canadian. You're not from home. Brother, I asked you where is home. I noticed that a lot, man. A lot of immigrants, they're jealous and envious of black native sons, black North Americans. They think we're less than. You're not a real black man. Listen to how you speak. You're from North America. They got a lot of prejudice themselves, these immigrants. And they want and they want and they want to take and they want your attention, time and attention. And when it's just common sense to know that, yo, immigrants are like everyone. They want something. Perhaps I'm not interested in their issues other than just basic civility. Welcome to Canada. All the best to you. You can tell, you can feel the contempt a lot of times when you speak with these people. That's the only question they ever ask. The first question, where are you from? When you tell them that you're from Canada, they give you this crazy look. And, they really try to infer that you are less than or not really Canadian or American as a black person. Where is home? No, where is really home? So the point being, there's prejudices among immigrants. There's prejudices amongst blacks to whites. There's prejudices amongst whites towards blacks. And then there's prejudice towards blacks and blacks. They're prejudicial towards each other. I can't tell you how many times I had a brother staring me up, being a hard ass on the job site, trying to cut my throat on stage. You know, I'm a stand-up comedian. I'm an actor. A lot of times when you meet stand-up comics that are actors and comics and actors, black comics and actors, go online and watch any famous dude talk about it. How come we can't get together? How can't we do nothing for ourselves? I mean, you look at these black podcasters, they're always fighting and beefing. You look at these black comedians, they're always fighting and beefing. How come they can't get together on anything like these white boys? I guess that's a bit of the Canadian coming out in me, eh? I bet that's a bit of the Canadian coming out in me, eh? That little black American accent I just did there. But, I mean, that's what they do. That's how they sound. That's what they talk. They talk that. You see it. And, don't even get me started about black men and black women. You get right, girl. When he gets on, he gonna leave your ass for a white girl. All that whole thing. Like, it's really strange. Like, you see it a lot in media. Black women portrayed as dating white men. That's a divide and conquer tactic. DEI really applies to, liberal white women, colored women, types of communities, and if you're a black man, you're not really included in DEI unless it comes to something like a labor job. They want to get more black construction workers, plumbers, electricians going. If you're willing to put in the work, they're going to accept you with open arms. Things like that. But any cushy job, any kiss-ass job, any type of job like that where you don't have to break your back and you're getting hand over fist payment, DEI really applies to like liberal white chicks, colored chicks, and like community people. They don't want no brothers around, trust me. You know what I mean? And when you see all these like commercials and film media, a lot of it's portrayed black woman and white man, a divide and conquer tactic. And it works because, black men and black women, I don't know. It can go all the way back to the, who's that dildo? Lyndon Johnson, the whole welfare state thing in America. You can go all the way back to that. It can go all the way back to slavery, the male slave getting separated from his family, the wife and kids. There's that family separation in slavery. It goes back a ways. But in the modern times, I don't know. I think it's like a media spin where it's like they're trying to depict black women and white men together as a divide and conquer tactic. And a lot of times with DEI, like I said, it really only applies to white women, colored women, and alphabet communities. When it comes to brothers, DEI, like I said, it applies to like a back-breaking industry where you got to bust your ass. Like, yeah, we're going to give you a leg up. You want to get into construction, trades, jobs where, the army, the military, like it's like, we'll accept you, but make no mistake, you're going to bust your ass to be here. Like, yeah, okay, they're going to incentivize and try to attract black men into these types of jobs and careers. But anything cushy, anything social media prestige, anything in entertainment, anything in government is different. They promote that within government. They'll take a brother into government and make them their useful puppet or whatever. But that's at least how I view it. Leave a comment if you see otherwise. Please do leave a comment if you have a different point of view. And all this stuff, it really kind of makes a battle between black men and black women, black brothers against black brothers, black sisters against black sisters, brothers, like blacks fighting amongst blacks. It's Black History Month always gives me pause to think about that. And I'm black to square one, I feel. I feel like after all the chaos of the pandemic, after some of the unity that we've been seeing, due largely in fact to President Trump, okay? The greatest president, 45, 47, the Don. He has promoted a lot of unity, which I'm liking, but I still feel like my black ass is black to square one. Black to square one, folks. Dealing with these stupid prejudices. Prejudice, again, I'd like to say, is it doesn't matter who you are. For example, look at me. Understand that I am a black man. That's part of how I see the world. Not like I'm swept up in my identity of being a black man, but I'm a black man. I understand how people view me and the vibe I get when I'm out in public. Now, sometimes that could be just because I am a male, fairly physically fit. That's a lot of intimidation. Sometimes just being a man, a male. And if you're adequately built, I mean, you're fairly tall, fairly athletic, that is enough to intimidate the modern man and woman. The modern day simps and princesses of today, if you're just putting out any sort of male energy, they get freaked out real quickly. So maybe some of that is just being a man in 2025, but a lot of it I know is from prejudice. Maybe not racism so much, like they hate me based on my skin color, they think less of me, but they have some sort of bias, some sort of racial bias, some sort of prejudice when they see my black ass come a scampering up. Oh no, what is this black guy doing here? What's he doing here? What's he doing here? Always keeping an eye on me. What's he doing here? What's he doing here? That's the prejudice I face. Everyone faces prejudice though. Let's say you're a white man, a white woman, an Asian man, an Asian woman, an Indian man, an Indian woman, a Native American man, a Native American woman. Whatever your bag is, man, you're going to be faced with prejudice. I mentioned the male prejudice, where it's like people look at me as a male, and a lot of times, toxic masculinity, misogynist, patriarchy. They're going a little hissy fit. Well, what about the female perspective? Let's say you're like a standard attractive woman. You know, you are just across the board an attractive woman. Whatever your race, you're an attractive woman. That comes with a lot of prejudice. Oh, she's stuck up. Oh, she thinks she's better than me. Oh, she's a princess. Oh, I bet she's a DEI hire. Oh, I bet she would make a terrible mother. Should never listen to her husband. Which you should. Shut up and listen every now and then, ladies, if you want to save your marriage. But I digress. Women, they face a lot of prejudice as well. Right? So, oh, my lamp's going out. Give me a second here. Let me try to adjust this. How's that? Is that a little bit better? I can't be looking too black on Black History Month, y'all. You know, the oldest joke in the book. How do you know if a black man's in the dark? If he's smiling. You know, I'm going to stop brushing my teeth out of brotherhood. I'm sick of them making fun of these brothers smiling in the dark so we can see them. You know, I'm going to get yellow teeth. Anyways. There's a horrible Asian joke in there somewhere as well. How do you know if an Asian who doesn't brush their teeth is in the dark? Oh, but they smile, y'all. With chopsticks. Anyway, we're all facing these prejudices in life. So there's a general prejudice that I think just loving one another, doing unto others as you'll have done unto yourself, accepting people, not flying off the handle and getting bent out of shape about every little thing. I really do think that is the way forward. And you know. Even though I feel like I'm black to square one at times, I do have a lot of hope. There's a new light across the land with this Trump administration, a feeling of security and peace and a promotion of just excellence and love and care. And if you don't totally agree with that politically, then at least take this as an opportunity to get to know people of differing points of view better. Take this as an opportunity to learn about different points of view and be respectful. And at the end of the day, we all have to go out and live life, thrive, work, have friendships, relationships. Let's get together. Everything can be airy. Yeah, man, God bless. So, hey, happy Black History Month. Food for thought. Let me know what you think. Leave me some comments, please. Go ahead and leave me a comment or two. Love to hear from you. Well, that about does it. That about does it for another episode of Johnathan Ramcharan, the podcast. Thank you very much for tuning in, folks. Till next time. Hallelujah. Joe Chuckle Buddy, guess who? Johnathan James Ramcharan, signing off from duty on this magnificent February 22nd in the year of our Lord, 2025. Black History Month, y'all. Prejudices, biases, whatever. Hit me up. I'm on YouTube, Rumble, email the show. That's jr.thepodcast@gmail.com. Till next time, everyone. Peace.